Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong, and welcome to the back office teardown lab. Oh, I was sent this, and before I cut into it with my blade, I should open it with the traditional unwrapping technique. It's a book, and this book was sent to me by my good friend Peter, who you may know as the Nostalgia Nerd. And this is his book of retro tech, computers, consoles and games. All the greatest old systems from Atari to Xbox. And first impressions, by the way, it's a weighty tome. Look at that. If you need something to keep your pancakes flat, boom, that would do the trick. Oh, there's a little thing in here. I'm just going to slip it out over there. Let's read what this was in here, because it might have my address on it. And, whoop. Because this is a kind of I guess a press type copy, it does have a little bit of information that clearly I should be sharing with you as part of my getting a free book, but no. It's published by Ilex Press, 1st of November, £15, so it's already out there. And it says, Peter, with well over 100,000 followers on YouTube as the Nostalgia Nerd, Peter Leigh is well known to his loyal fans for his in-depth videos about the software, hardware, games, toys, programs, magazines, the 70s, 80s, 90s. He has no shame in admitting his addition to retro tech. Indeed, it would be hard to hide. Well, to hide. Wow. Good. You can buy it in the shops now, basically, because I'm only just talking about it well into November. So first things first, it's a weighty tome, and it does look it's really quite cheerful, and it has this rather nice ultraviolet overprint here. You can see that in the writings, very shiny, but let's open its covers. The covers of yellowness. Peter Leigh, the Nostalgia Nerd's retro tech. Look at that. Interesting typesetting though with the T there. I don't know. I prefer that shimmied over, but that's just me. It's been a long time since I've produced a weighty tome, but it does exist. I have got some weighty tomes behind me. But this one's got proper ISBN and everything. And look at that. Contents. Magnavox Odyssey, Fairchild, Apple II, Tandy Terrace. And it's going through basically by the year released, I should think. So it's in chronological order. And I'm very much interested in. I'm going to skip the forward. Sorry, Peter, we haven't got time for that. I want to get straight to the TRS-80, and I suspect lots of people buying this will probably want to do the same. The first bit's, oh, what was that? Sorry, it's just catching my eye. There's a BBC micro. Okay, let's control ourselves. Because, yeah, lots of people buying this, TRS-80, page 28, are likely to just kind of want to first jump to the systems of their youth before exploring the systems that they've had a sort of general interest in, and then through the old history. Look at that. That's quite nice, isn't it? It's got like all the history and the bump there and the pictures. It's always the pictures that I like in these sorts of books, and it's not glossy paper, but it's kind of it's a semi-gloss matte finish. I'm going to smell it. Good choice, Peter. I think you've done a good one there on that paper choice. And look at that, tells you what games or software to try on it. And then there's your VCS. And look, if you're flicking through, I'm just going to flick through just to see if what catches me eye there. Interesting enough, Xbox, I guess it is kind of getting retro now. Game Boy Advance, one of my faves. Game Boy, obviously the Game & Watches. Xbox stuff. GameCube. So it's good. I mean, it's covering quite a lot of the sort of peripherals. I say peripherals and consoles up to quite recent years. I mean, that's probably still like nearly 20 years old now, isn't it? So, crikey, where has all the time gone? Dreamcast, Nintendo 64 with the what's that one? Disk drive? Is that a special one the developers had? PlayStation. I was never a fan really of PlayStation. Saturn. Never had a go on a Saturn. Obviously one of these. We've all had a go on one of these. Probably less so the 32X add-on. And this is going. We'll skip over that sort of Commodore stuff. We're not interested. But look at that. Falcon. Never really saw a Falcon in the flesh till I saw Gary's one recently. CDI. Did I see a CDI there? Oh, these are gorgeous. I just spent the weekend on a SNES Mini and it was absolutely perfect. So if you want to play a SNES or Super Famicom and you can't get hold of one, and you want to pay for all the games, just get that Mini. The Minis are good and they're so easy to hack if you want to. Sam Coupe, never seen one in the flesh. Always lusted after a Sam Coupe. They're so expensive, second hand now though. Be like costing you like 600 quid or something. Crazy money, like a Falcon. Mega Drives. the Acorn Archimedes, which I had a whole garage full that I let go for nothing, and I wish I had, and I don't even have one now to play on. My favourite, the Sega Master System, the most underrepresented console in the whole of bloody history. Sega was so happy to whore out their IP for Mega Drives, and they never did that for Master System, so nobody ever gets to play Dynamite Ducks. It's not fair. It's not on. Why don't they do that, Sega? Come on. Share it. Commodore Amiga, another great machine. Atari ST, my favourites. Very nice. Lovely jubbly. Commodore Plus 4, CPC. I have got one of the CPCs. I have to admit, I'm a more recent. What should we say? I've become a more recent addition to the cult of the CPC, and I'm enjoying its particular pleasures. Electron, not really seen one of those apart from at the Blackpool recently. Robert Taylor had his Electron that he was so happy to have found, but yeah, never really saw those. Rich kids at school had these, if you recall. I didn't. We had the old Master System. Nobody had a NES. And of course, harumph. If you know me, I have two of these Sony Hitbits. Maybe one, I don't know. We'll see. I might be getting rid of one soon enough. But these are amazing, these MSX Hitbits. The quality of the hardware, especially the Sony, is amazing. Apparently, it's got the RGB on the SCART, and I assumed all MSXs did, but I don't think these do. So who knows? Penguin Adventure is one particularly that I want to play on it, so that's what I'm looking forward to doing. And I've got it actually sitting next to me. Interestingly enough though, the one sitting next to me seems to be different in that the keys are much greyer, much cleaner looking, so maybe I've got a more exemplary model here. Who knows? Never much for an Atari, VCS and the like, never really into those. Vectrex, always coveted after a Vectrex. Never really got to see one until I started attending the Play Expos, and I want one even more now. They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. Not believe the quality of the graphics. What's this Chucky Egg on? This is interesting. So there's Chucky Egg, but it doesn't look like any Chucky Egg I've ever seen, and that's because it's clearly on. What's this? A Dragon Data Limited? The Dragon 32? Never seen a Dragon 32 in the flesh. What's this bad boy? Oh, Coleco, I'm guessing, because it says Coleco here, and that Antarctic Adventure looks really good. I'm really surprised actually. The Coleco must have been a pretty good machine. I'd like to investigate more. I had one of these shitty things back in the day. Terrible. I'm kind of confused though a little bit here. Why are we seeing pictures? These are ZX Spectrum games. If you buy one of these, the graphics will definitely not look like this. The graphics will look like more what comes out of the printer. Every time you push a button, the screen would like flicker and faff around. And of course, the machine I love to hate. I think I have 3 of these. I currently have 2, one being the +2 guys, which is actually acceptable. I've got a ZX Spectrum Plus, I think is the main one I have. I've got rid of my old dead flesh keyboard one. Don't miss it, to be honest. I don't miss it. I really don't. There's something particularly horrible about the hardware of these things. I don't know. I'm not going to comment really about the games and the graphics because they have their place in history, right? They probably ruined our ability to have better computers in the UK because they were here and all pervasive. So it probably set us back in some respects, but also allowed certain people who couldn't afford better machines to get machines. So I can't comment on that. However, I will comment Clive Sinclair really crapped the bed on the quality of the PCB and all of that stuff. It's terrible. But it was made in Britain, guys. Cha-ching! Yeah, that's probably why our industry's failed. Didn't make it as good as anywhere else in the world. Commodore 64, fantastic machine, still great. I have one of the kind of rebadged ones, remade ones that look like an Amiga, but it's fine. The C, I think it's called. Looks a lot like the VIC-20 though that Mr. Robert Taylor sent me. Same shell, I think. Oh, my favourite, the BBC Micro. And again, odd one for the picture because it's got a panel missing. I think I've got better, more exemplary versions of this. And I don't think the Econet's fitted, so I don't know where the pictures come from this. In fact, this picture shows the panel there and this one hasn't, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's doing the photo shoot in here. But I agree, Exile is a great game. And Elite, of course. People always comment on Exile Elite. But the back catalogue for a BBC Micro is massive. And the coin-op conversions are absolutely superb. Really underrated machine, but fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Get hold of an emulator if you want to try one. These always look great, but again, never really got to try them. Texas Instruments. There's a lot of fans of these TI-99s. This is the VIC-20. Again, not really played it too much, but I shall be exploring it more. But the predecessor to the greats, wasn't it? I mean, this is like the predecessor to Commodore 64, which was obviously one of the greatest machines known to man. Now, TRS-80s again. These were the colour variants. Although, hang on. Confused. So it says here, TRS-80 colour computer. But this doesn't look like, this looks like a regular TRS-80, so I'm not sure. I think that's definitely a colour one. So I'm really confused now. Was the colour a mod to the original? See, this is now where I'm going to have to go and dig in and do some more research. But yeah, I don't know. It just looks the same to me as a regular one. I don't make it a colour one. But damn, the games look good in colour. Donkey Kong. It's a very effective looking Donkey Kong. The ZX80, the same sort of crap as the ZX81 in a kit that's even cheaper, even nastier. But again, you have to remember at the time, people's home computer kits looked like bloody calculators with LED numeric displays and toggle switches. So, these are kind of the beginning of the sort of home computer market in the UK. But I want to show you something. That's what we were making. Okay, let's go back to the same year. I saw it here. Where are we? Right. This was in 1977 at TRS-80. So this is a proper machine which you had, although strangely enough, with a screen, but not shown here. This has a screen. It's not that one. That's not the one I want to show you. It's more like the one that's on this page. That one. Yeah, that's the TRS-80. 1977. That's what we made. Computer. Homemade wedge of plastic. Computer, homemade wedge of plastic. So I do think there was a massive difference between what we had in the UK and Europe and the rest of the world. The big three at the time, of course, were the Apple II, the TRS-80, and I'm hoping it's in there, but there should be the Commodore PET. So let's see. Interesting enough if Peter's got that in there. We've got the VIC-20, but we don't do the PET. And they're often referred to as the big three, really, because between them they sort of represent the sort of beginning of the proper home real home computing technologies, where they're not kits, they're real machines, and people could buy them and just start doing them or using them for sort of work accounts or whatever. But this is a great reference, this book. So Peter, I'm sorry I've been talking over your book. I've been using it as a reference, but this is great. I mean, there's loads of stuff in here that I don't know, which I would love to sort of now research. I mean, my sort of computing knowledge, I kind of ending at Mega Drive, Atari ST, this first half of the book before I kind of lost interest. See, we had PCs and stuff at this side of the book, this era, but there were a lot of games consoles and CDIs and all of those on-rail shootery type games. So that side's going to be interesting for me to research, and this side's going to be interesting for me to sort of confirm what I think I know. I don't know everything for sure. But yeah, very nice book. I think let's get down to brass tacks. You are going to spend £15 of your own money. If you are on UK minimum wage, you're talking at least 3 to 4 hours of your work, so half a working day. Would you forgo a couple of Wagamama lunches and a bus ticket walk home for this? And I think you would. £15 definitely represents okay value in my book, definitely. I would like to know if it does have any. Oh, it's got a games index at the back as well, has it? Nice. What I'd like to know though, it says an end note here, if there's any links to Peter's online stuff. I mean, that could be cute. Although, maybe not. Maybe it's good. Peter, if there isn't, I think that's good. You're separating church and state. YouTube is your video stuff, and this book is your serious author of retro gaming technologies. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate receiving it, and I'm going to appreciate the knowledge it shall impart. So hopefully that's been of some use to you, my little dash through the covers. And ping me. Write down below what you think if you've already got this book. Are you happy with it? Are you angry with it? And what have you learned? If there's any interesting factoids, chuck them down there. I would love to learn factoids without having to do the research myself. So thank you so much. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye bye.